Felicia Michaels, my princess, has been entertaining audiences with a unique style of provocative humor since the 90s, all right? With her tongue-in-cheek, she's been exploring such topics as the dynamics of the male-female relationships, or as we call them here in the studio, dirty thoughts, and the proliferation of the sensual feminist. She's a little firecracker rolled up, and that's why I love her, and that's why you're going to love listening. So tune in, all right?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage right now is a very beautiful lady. I met her recently, and Joey has known her for a while, and I would like to introduce Miss Danielle Stewart.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you for including me on Beauty and the Beast.
Now that we got that out of the fucking way, what's going on?
We're back, bitches! Beauty and the Beast podcast episode number, what is it?
I think it's
41, 42, 40. Who gives a shit? It's a sunny day in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Danielle, what's happening, beautiful?
Not much.
I seen that little picture that you have on your T-shirt of you as a little young girl on your scooter, just thinking like the picture just says, "What the fuck?" That's what the picture should say. Like, what, bitch?
Badass bitch.
You got the leg warmers. You just listened to Olivia Newton-John. You got some change in your hand. You're going to get some licorice. How old were you there?
I was probably 9.
And that was 1983?
You were still on a tricycle at 9?
No, 9 in 1983. Hey. Jesus, let's not make me older than I already am.
I sucked the fucking pacifier till I was 7, you know what I'm saying? Like, who gives a fuck about whatever?
I pissed the bed till I was 32.
Yeah.
Most of that's alcohol related, but still. No, I got this. Jason, my boyfriend Jason Tebow made this.
You mean your activity partner?
Yeah, well, we don't do a lot of out of the house activities, but he made me. He does screen printing. I sent him this picture of me when I was like 9, and I got a tricycle with leg warmers on. I got a sweatshirt with shoulder pads, and I got my mother's sunglasses on the top of my head. And my favorite thing is I got my thumb hooked into the fucking pocket. Because you know what? Fuck you guys.
You're styling it.
Yeah. And he made it into a T-shirt, and the bottom says 19 cunty 3, because that's his fucking sense of humor. So yeah.
That's really cool that you wear a T-shirt that your boyfriend made for you with the
word
cunt on it.
Sure.
I think that's really sweet. I think that means that you give a lot as a person.
You know, cunt is a big word between us. We like to use it a lot. We like to take the power out of it. You know what I mean? I like to use the word cunt.
Yes, I'm starting a new show. It'll be at the John Lovitz. It's going to be women doing comedy. And I'm going to call it the original See You Next Tuesdays.
Oh, I love that.
I just made that up.
No, I think that's great.
Anyway.
That's a nice little shirt, though. It just tells them about who you are, who you grew up to be. It's really neat to look at pictures of yourself when you're a kid and going, what the fuck was I thinking? But then again, that's kind of who I grew up to be, you know?
Yeah,
it's pretty
totally.
neat sometimes, you know? It's really cool.
I don't even know, like, I was more confident at this age, you know, because I didn't have, like, people hadn't called me a whore yet. I didn't have any fucking hang-ups, you know what I mean? I was just like, I don't give a fuck. This doesn't even match. This is my skirt's striped. My leg warmers have fucking sheep on them. I don't give a fuck. I was just like, I'm rolling around the neighborhood.
Remember when you were just a kid and all of a sudden everything was great, but then it came to a point where now you had to start combing your hair and brushing your teeth because girls came into the picture, or for girls, guys came into the picture, you know? Mm-hmm. But for a long time, you just don't give a fuck. You roll out of bed, your hair's sticking up. Boom! This is what it is, bitch. It's Wednesdays. Take it or leave it, you know? Mm-hmm. Once you get to like the 8th grade, you're like, this shit's got to come to a stop. I got to start hitting on
6th grade for girls like Felicia.
7th grade. Yeah, you
really? No, I was the biggest dork. I tell you, all my girlfriends, when we were 14, they were out getting pregnant, and I swear to God, I was secretly playing with my Barbie dolls. And they would come over, I'd be like, oh, fuck, hide the Barbie dolls.
Oh, my God. No, I was a really early bloomer when it came to sex. You know, I was in kindergarten, and I was chasing boys around. Like, I would get complaints. My mom would get complaints about me, like, terrorizing boys in my class and stuff. So I never thought boys had cooties. I always wanted to make out. I was very sexual at an early age. You know, that's what happens when you're molested.
Oh, that happens. You know what I'm saying? Well, we always have to throw the molestation in here now to really put doom and gloom until the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? This podcast, we mug people, we kill hookers, shit like that. Once you start talking about fucking touching people and stuff.
We touch people and have gotten touched.
I don't think molestation always has to be a negative thing. I mean, look, it made me who I am today. Like, do I condone it? No. But I mean, like, I made the best of the situation, you know? There's a reason why I ended up as a comic. And not a stripper. Those were good choices, you know. It was one or the other.
Or both.
Yeah,
Or both.
yeah, or both.
Both. And I know
Yeah.
there's a couple of nights you've danced for some guys, late 4 in the morning, a couple cocktails in, you've got the fucking bikini
Yeah,
on.
were you a stripper ever?
I wasn't. I was, and it wasn't out of morals. My two best friends were strippers in college, but I was always too insecure about my body.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never, I have a weird body. Like, it looks good in clothes, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like I had a pot belly and I had weird tits. I didn't get tits until I was 21.
When you're that age, like, I swear to God, all my 20s, I never wore shorts because I thought I had ugly legs. That's fucking insane. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't have an ounce of cellulite, but then you're not wearing shorts.
The time when I should have been swinging it. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else.
Lisa's on a roll today. Look at her. She's
know.
cracking herself up.
I know.
She's a fucking barrel of laughter today.
Thank you, Jerry.
It's Monday. This is what it's all about. I like hanging out with girls on a Monday. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? This is fucking cool.
Hanging out with girls on Monday, banana bread on Tuesdays.
No, I've been off the banana bread for a couple of
really?
days since Thursday. Yeah, I had to give it up for a couple of days. Just
Why? What's the
because you gotta get your
aftermath?
fucking Saturday. It's just too crazy, man. I ate some after the one-man show that night, and I basically went home. Like, it's like the last week before I did the show, I was always thinking and stuff. So once I got off stage, it was over. I ate a piece of banana bread. I went home. Terry was talking in mid-conversation. I'm like tapping out. I got to hit the fucking crib. It's over. She's like, it's only 10:15. I got to hit the fucking crib. And I went straight till 8 the next morning, which I never sleep past 6. So, and I got up Friday and went to get 7 fucking cavities filled. Not 2, but fucking 7.
You got 7?
From 11 to 2, I was in there getting drilled on, needles, fucking tubes.
Oh,
Thank God for my
man.
podcast, with my fucking iPod and the podcast. I listened to it. I kept passing out and coming back. You know me. When I go in there, I got to drive down to 405. It's 45 minutes. So I ain't got time to we get 1 a week. Let's go, bitch.
Yeah.
Sprinkle that liquid cocaine in my mouth and go to work, motherfucker. Insurance is paying for this shit.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
that was it. Basically, Friday I chilled. I went by the ha-ha. I didn't do shit. You know?
You didn't drive home from the 7 cavities, did you?
No, my wife drove
Oh,
me
okay.
home.
It's like, whoa.
But it didn't matter because there was fucking traffic. I was doing 2 minutes,
Right.
2 miles a fucking hour. So, by the time I got home, the shit wore off anyway.
Yeah.
You want to walk out of there high so you can smoke a number and then hit it with a cigarette and you mix all the chemicals between the nicotine and the fucking THC and the liquid cocaine in your mouth. Let me tell you an interesting thing. It was fucked up because she said to me, when was the last time you got this filling done? I had like silver on this side. I still got them. And I said, November 18th. 1987, and she was like, "Oh my God, how do you remember that?" It's the day I kidnapped the fucking dude because I kidnapped him at 1, but at 9 I was in the dentist chair. And the funny story was, I think I mentioned this to you before. When I got a private investigator, they were going to fight it from that angle. They said that had an effect on what my thinking and my judgment because I had gotten like 3 cavities that day, and they gave me gas. That's when the needle phobia was really high.
Yeah.
I had the gas and I had the needles, but I didn't really want to fight it from that angle. I knew what I had done. And I'm not fucking retarded.
Right.
I'm not going to blame it on the toothache.
Yeah,
in
you
court
knew it
and
had nothing to
insult
do
the
with
judge.
the
Yeah,
cavity.
it could have.
So you did the kidnapping with the big toothache?
No, it was gone by that time. I was ready to go. I was smiling, you know what I'm saying?
It helped. It helped, if anything.
He had polished my teeth. I was ready to kidnap somebody, you know what I'm saying? Today, another fucking beauty came on Facebook. See, Facebook is connecting people worldwide. So about 3 months ago, I had seen this guy on Facebook, but I really grew up with his cousin. I knew him very well, but I grew up with his cousin. So when I went home to Jersey, I bumped into that guy, and I go, "Hey, Patty D's on Facebook." He goes, "Yeah, he looks like Snooki. Like he's one of those guys that's been suntanning since 1975. When I hung out with him in 1979, he was suntanning.
Right.
You know, he was one of these guys. I had the thing at the house.
Yeah.
The tubes weren't popular yet. He had like all the shit in his bathroom, and he'd stand there all coked up and come out sweating. Fucking classic. But now he's like a fucking prune, and he works for this town of whatever. But it was funny today. I get home, and there's a couple messages on my Facebook, and I hit it, and it goes, "Coco Bender," and that was all he put. He just put 2 question marks. He's very cautious. And then when I went to the thing, the friend request was his. So I had seen him in there, so I wrote it back, "Patty boy, it's Coco, whatever, great to hear from you and stuff." But now to tell her, I just put my number in there, and he called me right away. And he goes, this is how he opened the conversation. He goes, "Before we say any further, I just want you to know that you saved my fucking life when you were a kid. If it wasn't for what you did for me that night, I would have got 20 fucking years." Now, you know how I sit here with you and tell you all these stories? I'm on the other end of the phone going, "I don't even know what you're talking about, Patty boy." And he goes, "Hold on, my daughter's in the room." And he went outside the room, and he goes, "You were walking home one night. You had to be 14, and I had the cops behind me chasing me from the Meadowlands. And I pulled up next to you and gave you $500 cash and like 2 ounces of blow, and it was in a bag. And you just kept walking. Like the cops pulled me over, and you just kept walking. And he goes, the next day I went to see you, and you gave it back to me. He goes, you don't remember that story? I go, not at all. He goes, I took you to eat in New York. We went to like Tavern on the Green. I was a kid. I go, I remember going to eat with you. And he goes, yeah, you saved my fucking life. At the time, he was working at NBC. But he used to meddle in the powder. And when my mother died, I told you that story. I lived with that cop that we used to go out and snort. Well, that was the cousin. So he would give me money in the mornings. I'd go see his cousins in the afternoon. Well, again, we connected on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I want to give kudos to Facebook. Connected me with my first ever cocaine dealer after my mother died. I was fucking 15. Right. And I even wrote back to him when I wrote him back, I go, thank you for taking care of me as a kid. Somebody else could have sold me anything.
Yeah.
You know, they could have sold me Ajax. This guy took care of me. You know, he always fucking gave me nice little rocks. So, you know, I love you, cocksucker.
You're the only guy I know who's like excited to reconnect with their old coke dealer.
You
left on good terms.
You have no idea. He's a parent now. You know, he works as like some township, like as a mayor's aide, and it's great to hear when. I wasn't really tight with him. I was in his life for maybe 6 months, but I knew all his cousins. I had grown up, and it's amazing. The one cop was a cousin, and his other cop was Denny D, who one night had a party downstairs from my house, and I'm upstairs with Mr. Bender, stoned like a motherfucker. He doesn't know I'm stoned. I got the Visine in him. I'm 14, 15. What's my girl's name over here? Danielle. I got to be 14, 15. So you got to remember this time in my life is different. And all of a sudden, me and Mr. Bender, it's a Saturday night, we're getting ready to watch Donna Kirsh's rock concert or whatever was on after Saturday Night Live. And all of a sudden we hear this yelling on the street. And Mr. Bender, I'll never forget, he's eating a fucking sandwich. He gets up, he looks at the window, and he goes, Coco, get your sneakers on. And we get the sneakers on, we go outside, and there's some guy that was partying downstairs that was like ODing, and he was dying. And they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And Mr. Bender said, pick him up and put him on the fucking street. Ain't nobody dying on my fucking property. And we picked him up. Mr. Bender goes, take one arm. And Dennis is like, no, he's my brother-in-law's. Fuck him. He's dying on the street. We picked this motherfucker up, threw him in the street. Mr. Bender picked up the sandwich off the car and kept eating and said, fuck him. I don't want no junkie dying on my fucking side. Let's go upstairs and watch TV, Coco.
Wow.
And we went upstairs, watched the rest of the show. The ambulance came. He's like, lock the door. Fuck those cocksuckers.
Yeah.
Let them die outside in their own hooliganism. And here I am tripping on acid with a gram of coke in my pocket. You don't have no fucking idea. Hysterically. So that was, his cousins were all like fucking crazy. The whole family across the board. I grew up with I really grew up with this guy's younger sister. And they say she's a shut-in now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's a shut-in. I mean, this girl was beautiful. He goes that she's 400 pounds. I almost fell off. Yeah. He goes, you wouldn't even recognize her. She's a shut-in.
Why?
So, I don't know. We didn't touch that far.
Well, I just read somewhere recently about where they found a body off Laurel Canyon, and it was some B-movie actress from long ago. And
she had been dead for a while.
She had been dead for like, I think a year or so.
No.
For a very long time.
So you know what that's like? That for a fucking year, your friends.
The neighbor had to crawl in a broken window and then saw the body.
Was there just? I mean, you would think the smell would alarm people.
But if it's a house, no, I don't think so. No way. After inside a house.
Oh God, you have no idea.
On the outside, it would still smell.
Oh God, it smells fucking horrid.
I think it's a cat or a rat or something. That's what
but it's
people
just.
think.
Let me tell you something. When you smell a rat or an animal, it's got a pungent smell. You could tell.
Yeah.
But when you smell a body, it's like you could smell the bowels of their fucking underbelly. Like I've seen a body like 3 or 4 days when I was like 10 off a fucking West Side Highway. My friends would go, they want to go see a body, and they'd be fucking kicking, after 2 days. And my other buddy owns a funeral parlor, so I would talk to him about it. But man, I can't even imagine. I know like bodies in a trunk have stunk up a whole fucking block in the winter. In the winter, never mind when the heat starts hitting and the bugs start coming out and shit. Like a body in a trunk, they parked it on side streets and people have complained, like a weird odor coming from the fucking car. So,
well, this is a lesson to people because, you think your creditors are after you and stuff, but like she was dead a year, no one came to her house to fucking get the money.
Well, they usually fucking call you or send you the mail.
And, like the real estate tax.
Like no one came to get her. They're just like,
it's amazing.
That's a crazy story, isn't it?
But you know what, man? She died very lonely because a year, nobody even said, fuck, I haven't seen Felicia in a fucking year.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna knock on the door. Nobody. But this is just how this town is.
That's this town, man.
Sight unseen.
Yeah.
Fuck it. If you ain't with me, working, making money, go fuck yourself. You know, it's a very brutal life out there.
Did they know how she died?
No, she was quite old. No, she was like in Playboy, one of the first girls in Playboy in the 60s, not one of the first girls, but and she had a lot of bit parts, but just never quite made it. But she worked a lot at a certain point in her life, and had I'm sure infamous love affairs. They had a little bio about her. I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name.
No, I read it also. I
didn't
didn't read the bio either.
Vivian
I read it. And I was like, wow, because I
know.
thought I made a mental note that it was dead for a year. The body, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's just, and it's just, it goes to show you the different parts of the country. Like, by my block, I have a problem where people just fucking park where they want to. And they park like 3 feet behind the next car. And after 2 of those, you fucking got in a parking spot.
Pet peeve.
And that just tells me that you don't give a fuck about nobody else but yourself. Those little things, like when there's a ton of traffic and really you're going to pull over here and do this shit to me, you're just telling me you don't give a fuck. When you don't put your blinker on, you're just telling me. And it's weird. When I went east a couple months ago, everybody fucking uses their blinker, or at least when I seen them. Here,
They also wave.
They wave.
When they cut you off, yeah.
It's really weird. I mean, here they just fucking, and you're supposed to think that this is sunny out, people are a little sweeter here.
Yeah.
No. And it's weird that when people are so into themselves in a way that they don't even realize around them. I don't talk to somebody for 4 days, I get fucking worried. I'm like, what the fuck? Just
That's
because
true.
I
You
come
are
from
like
that
that,
world.
yeah.
I come from that world. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you could say to me, oh, we're tight friends, and then
You're unusual like that, Joe.
I don't hear from you for a
Once you
month.
make your mind out about,
I don't hear. I don't understand that shit. Either your
right
friends.
there.
That's
Yeah.
why when I see George Clooney and fucking the other guy giggling at the premiere, and people in Iowa are reading this shit, going, "Oh, they're such great friends." They don't see each other.
Right.
They don't
see each
talk
other
to
at
each other.
premieres.
They
That's
talk
about
to
it.
each other when they do
Yeah.
a movie. And, oh my God, you got no haircut. That's it. There's no fucking like depth in their friendship, and that at a certain age, that's what you look for in people.
Yeah.
And you just have your little people around you, but after 4 or 5 fucking days, you got to call and go, hey, what happened? I haven't heard from you. I usually have people that at different time zones. So I know, I'm up at 6, so I talk to people at 6, back east in Miami, a little bit later. So when I don't hear from you for a couple of days, I gotta call you and say,
Yeah, it's true.
what's
You are
cracking,
like
you
that.
dirty
That's
bitch?
a
What's
great
going
quality
on?
that you have, for sure.
Well,
None
yeah.
of your friends are going to be dead a year in their house, that's for sure.
No,
No,
no.
you'll come
Diaz will be there like fucking,
Oh yeah,
you dead in there?
I'm like your girl. I come to clean up the evidence, dog. I'm
I
the
know.
king of that shit. I come to clean. I don't know. He was here, but he's got needle marks. What are you bothering me? What am I, a doctor? I don't fucking see nothing. What? He took a flu shot. What are you bothering me for? You know what I'm saying? He's got white particles around his nose. You're fucking sneezing yourself. There's fucking allergics in the air. Whatever. You just gotta check up on people. Whatever.
Let me ask you this, Danielle. If let's say something unfortunate happened, which we already talked about it last week, who would be your person to come and clean out the evidence in your house?
Oh, well, I mean, it would probably end up being my mother. Oh, you mean when you want someone like
Yeah,
who would clean
yeah.
up before?
You know what I'm saying?
Take the porn out, the fucking
Yeah,
dildos,
the
the old
dildos.
rubbers.
It would be Shannon, my friend Shannon.
A picture of
Hatch.
you holding your butt cheeks up,
Yeah.
with teeth sniffing your asshole, the good shit.
Yeah. Well,
Not
that
the-
stuff I would
yeah.
be proud of, but Shannon would understand. My friend Shannon understands image. She understands like embarrassing shit. You know what I mean? Like her and I do that podcast together, and she just gets me. And she would set up the apartment the way that I would want it to be. She'd make it seem like I died in a funny way. You know what I mean? Like she would do it right. So yeah, it would be her. I gotta put her on emergency contact as emergency contact fucking person. Good thing you brought that up.
It's amazing. I really don't have much to clean up. Like if I died in my office, what do I have to clean up? A
Yeah.
bong, some rolling papers. But I found one of those dildos from Adam and Eve.
Oh, you
So I
did?
got to give it out the next show, that big blue one. I don't know who would take that
one's
fucking
big.
thing,
That's like Aquaman's dildo.
Yeah, that's something fucking.
It's like a home wrecker.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the thing that's most embarrassing about mine is like I do like journaling, like I journal like these things called morning pages where I get up in the morning and I write 3 pages of just stream of consciousness shit. That's the shit I don't want anyone to find because that's like my inner fucking thoughts first thing in the morning, halfway through a cup of coffee. Like that is the stuff that I don't want anyone to know about me. That how crazy and neurotic I am, how fucking much I hate myself or overly love myself. Like, it's just that inner kind of stuff. It's like, I'd rather have you find dirty fucking bloody shit panties and a fucking huge double-ended black dildo hanging around my neck than ever find my fucking journal. You know what I mean? Fuck that. No way.
Oh yeah, because well, I am the opposite. I don't want anyone to find my dirty shit panties like that. That's what I want them to throw away.
I always think of that like when you die. Let's say you die and your ass was dirty. Now you got to go to the fucking morgue and they got to take your pants on and put a suit on you that's fucking clean to bury you. That last whiff of ass goes into your fucking mortician's face. You know what I'm saying?
Your dead ass.
So next time you go to a mortician and he's charging you $15,000 to bury your fucking loved one, it's not because, you know, he's robbing you. It's because he's the last one to smell your loved one's real last scent. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing how much they charge for a fucking burial nowadays. Somebody punches a ticket in your life, get ready to fucking stick a cock up your ass because you're getting reamed, Jack. They will ream you at every level. How do I know about this? My best friend owns one of those places. The profit margin is absorbent.
No, what about if you get cremated?
From the whole, they don't make that much on you, but they'll bang you. It's like buying a car. Oh, by the way, you want to? Oh, they're gonna get lit. You want your guy to have, you know, a lower cream on them so the whiff don't smell that bad. That's an extra $200. They always get you with something. It's like buying a fucking car at the end. They always got the mop and glow. The caskets are $2,000. They get them sent from some fucking third world nation.
Yeah, and that's a shitty casket.
And they charge you fucking, you know, I've been to Veneris fucking downstairs.
So third world nations build American caskets?
Well, there's big time American casket companies that they're fucking solid and stuff like that. But if you can't afford, I mean, there's just a lot of scams in that business from the hole in the ground. Remember, the hole in the ground cost them $200. You pay $1,200 for that same fucking hole. But they got to deal with the cemetery. You don't have, so you follow me? They make money on every level, and at the end of a body, they got a $10,000 profit. You know, and it cost them $6,000. The building's fucking paid for. You know, that smell comes with the fucking building.
Well, someone has to do it, and they're the right
people. The guy that cleans you out at first. What's that guy? The autopsy. The
metal.
He was getting 20 years ago. He was getting $60 a body. And he was a fireman. That doubled as a fucking guy that mortician. So he would come down. Veneer would have like 3 or 4 bodies for him. He'd clean out the fucking bodies, and then I'm telling you, I grew up in this shit. It was the creepiest shit, and it was weird because when I went home, I mean, I've been hanging out with Anthony for 30 fucking years, and when I went home, I hadn't seen him for 30 fucking. I haven't seen him for a year. And I walk. He goes, "Where are you, Di?" I go, "I'm in the neighborhood." He goes, "Pull up." I pull up, and he's in this thing with his suit on. And he's pissed off, like he's, you know, people's names are on the thing, A, B, and C, and it's like Diaz. He was fixing the D so it was straight. He turned around, and the no smoking sign was behind something. And he was like, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Come on, we're going to go eat. And I yelled at him the whole way in the car. And then the next day I realized, why was I yelling at him? That's why he's been so successful for 30 years.
Yeah.
And all my friends that have had parents or somebody who died have called me back and said, A, he took care of us, and B, he was fucking amazing. He was amazing for me. So I see that shit, you know, I mean, I was watching him going, this fucking thing, and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker needs pills. But no, you know, it's a tough business. We used to,
I'm sure.
We did that business together when he was a kid. Now it's easy. But when you're a kid and you're trying to snort blow and do quaaludes and fuck chicks, and your pager goes off when you're 3 8 balls in, and you got to go pick up a body at the airport, and we go pick up a body and say, "Yeah, on the way back we got to stop in Harlem and pick up a coke rock." We can't. I got to. Yeah, we'll fucking kill you. Pull over. Let's get some coke, and we'll do a couple bumps on the way over the fucking bridge with the body in the back. I mean, I still remember these fucking stories of just morbid shit. Picking up bodies, you know, dropping, you know, him telling me stories. I mean, he never revealed to me what they do to him the final time. Like, he always stuck to his nerve. Even when I get him coked out, I know they break your spine, they drain your blood and all that shit, all that last stuff they do to you. He never gave in. But he used to have a gym set up right next to the embalming room. So I would go downstairs at night and lift in this fucking gym, and by the time I left there, I'd be high because the gallons of formaldehyde would be right outside the fucking gym, you know?
Wow.
He had a gorgeous gym, lap machines, the whole thing, bicycles, TVs.
Wow.
What are you gonna do? You know
God, I can't even imagine that job sober. I mean,
we used to snort blow in there while the bodies were in there. I mean, we go into the fucking room and fucking get beers. He'd always have beers in the refrigerator. We'd fucking be blasted in there, and there'd be 3 bodies with rosary beads around their hand. And every time you went to the bathroom, you had to see these fucking 3 bodies. Last week we had a 13-year-old, another 13-year-old email me. I'm going to tell you something, guys. I'm going to tell you something fucking honest to God. If I could do it all again, I would join the Army and I'd become a mortician. if I could do it all again.
Really?
Because it's a high school diploma in 1 year of school. And then you go work for somebody. And you go work for somebody starting at 60 or 70. You don't go work for somebody $8 an hour. You just went to mortician school. Not everybody wants to be a fucking mortician. And so what? You fucking pick up a dead body's hand. You know, it's not like you're going to be dressing them. They have a barber that comes in and somebody who does the fucking clothing and stuff. You're just basically picking them up. If you get into the embalming side of it, that's what it's called, when you have to fucking put that shit in their things. I mean, I don't know what that guy was making. This is like 20 years ago. He was making 60 a body, 80 a body. But I know that those guys out of school 1 year. And I'm going to tell you something. I grew up with venereal. He's no fucking brain surgeon, guys.
But what about the guys that come in and they've had their fucking face blown to bits, or they've had like something happen where it's not just about embalming and dressing the body, it's about, that's like art. Like, you've got to restructure the face, you've got to, you know, put enough makeup on.
Well, you could do what you could do.
Right.
If your fucking face gets shut off, they put a casket down, they put a picture of you, and everybody goes home. Nobody wants to see that damage.
Yeah.
They could just do what they could do. They make you look, you know, a lot of shit happens after death. People swell up. A lot of shit happens. How many times have you seen somebody alive and you go see him dead and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, what happened here? People change. Their heads change. It's fucking amazing. It is amazing. But, I mean, you could just repair so much.
But what are the psychological effects of being a
mortician?
career mortician?
Booze.
Yeah,
it's
true.
the other end.
Yeah.
You see life in its purest form on the other end. You know what I'm saying? Some doctors deliver fucking life. You know, so everything's a beautiful thing. Now these guys see the other end of it, and Bill, I'm telling you, I remember times with him when it's like I would call him up. We would torment him. We tormented him. Me and my friend Roger, his wife died of cancer recently. We would torment Roger. We call him up, and whoever answered the phone, we'd go with whoever, the mother, the sister. We'd go, I want to rock. Anthony, it's for you. It's one of your disgusting friends. What'd you say to my mother? I want to rock. Coco, you can't fucking call here and say that to my mother. We'd run over his cones. What we did to this kid growing up was just amazing, and he loved us. Every Tuesday, he told him that he took a class. So me and him would go to Burger Barn and smoke pot. And I mean, we used to fucking go to concerts. And every time we get coked up, our mission was to throw the beeper away. Every time we got him a little hammered, it was how we going to pickpocket this pager off him, because we're having a great time, and now the page is going to go off, and we throw the fucking pager away. We used to throw his pager away once a month.
Did he ever miss a pickup because you threw his pager away?
All the fucking time. All the time. We get home, and his dad would be outside with the wig. Where you been? You know, toughing it back down, and we'd be laughing in the fucking car, and I mean, he was, you know, we're still good friends. I talked to him 2 days ago. We were talking about The Odd Couple. Because he got the new DVD. But it's amazing. I grew up in that shit. And it takes away something from you. Like, he's fucking, like, I remember one time I called him and go, hey, we're going out tonight. He's like, I can't go out. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean you can't go out? We have this plan. And he's like, dog, some girl came in. He goes, Lisa whatever's here. And I go, what's she doing there? You gonna bang her? And he goes, no, she came in a fucking body bag.
Oh, man.
She was drinking and fucking driving and got hit by a fucking truck last night. Yeah. And we were like 25. This is 84, maybe 86. And I remember situations like that. And then he'd come out and hang with us, and we wouldn't really talk about it because I knew how he was about his job. But he's really like very quiet. You know, this job fits him as a personality. He's quiet. He can't be married because he can't keep his fucking dick in his pants. You know, he meets a broad at every fucking funeral. You know, there's 4 funerals going on at once. That's 4 fucking girls he meets. You know, he's a good-looking Italian kid. He's got nice cars, you know. Everything he buys, it has to be black so he gets the tax write-off.
A mortician womanizer. That's so interesting.
Very
Do you think it's because he knows how short life is, and it's just like, I'm not going to fucking settle
It's
down?
just he has a different outlook on life.
Yeah, I'm
you know, and it's like, I'm telling you, that Sunday night when everybody else is like, Coco's here, he was like, I don't give a fuck you're here. 30 years, we're good friends.
I'm straightening this letter.
You know how I fucking am. You know how I am. I mean, if I take the mints out of his bowl, he loses his fucking mind. Die. Why you gotta take the mints out of the bowl? Take the box out of the back. When I went this last time, I brought everything back. And he hates when I take stuff from him. Like, he has the little bags that you have to put the mask cards in. I take those bags and use them out. I go to the gym with it, and he would lose his fucking mind. So it's a Venereal funeral parlor. I give away the pens to people.
Oh,
he has shower caps. He's got the little things to read that you put in your books if you're old. So he sends you those. So when you get buried, you can request Venereal. So he sends you stuff throughout the year. Like, after you hit 80, he just sends you shit on a monthly level. You know what I'm saying? Like, then he sends out these things that are like glasses. So I got them at the house.
That's when you know when you start getting fucking
Things
shit
from
from
funeral
a funeral
parlors.
home. You're like,
Yeah.
oh no, they know it's coming. They know something I don't know.
Listen, every year, I've been gone from North Bergen since 1984. Every year on December 15th, I get a little yellow envelope and I get a venereal funeral card calendar. He knows that makes my fucking
Your
year.
days are numbered, motherfucker.
My days
That's
are
what
numbered
that
when you
is.
get the fucking calendar.
What about your one-man show? How did that go?
The one-man show went great.
Yeah, you liked it? And did you enjoy doing it? Did you find it cathartic?
Yeah, because I had been writing it for a long time. And Felicia went to the one 2 years ago, which was a nightmare because I had hooked up with an artistic guy.
Wait, was it a nightmare, Felicia?
No, I wanted to direct it. Yeah, it was a nightmare because he wanted me to walk into this Chinese restaurant and stuff. So
Wait, did you do one of those things where you were like, "Oh my god, what are you guys doing here?" Like to the
no,
audience?
it was just really weird. He
worst.
wanted to do one of those things, and I just couldn't see it. I knew that my strength in this thing is storytelling. I knew that the storytelling aspect would come into it, but I didn't want to. Before, when I had done it, I had based it on the storyteller. I was very intricate now. When I did the first workshop, I just told the stories, and I put a piece of paper out for people I knew, like people that had known me for a long time. I invited a weird amount of different people that I knew that knew me, and I gave them all pieces of paper, and I got their notes. You know, and this is what people don't understand. When you're a fucking comedian or whatever, and I think we've had this discussion. You know, for years, everybody watched Chris Rock, and everybody was in awe, like his specials are bad, dog. What a lot of people don't know is when he gets his advance money from HBO, he would hire Jenny, Nick DiPaolo, and who else? One other guy. Louis C.K. And he would pay them, and they would go out with him every night.
That's a mark of intelligence.
And you give 15 minutes to Felicia. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay you, bitch. First of all, you know me. Danielle, you know what I talk about. Don't show up talking about Howdy Doody or McKenna because I'll stab you in the face. You know me. We've been hanging out for 10 years. Here's 50 grand. Here's 50. Felicia, same fucking thing. And twice a week, I'll see you at 8 so we could go out and try your jokes together. You'd see him going from the Improv to the Laugh Factory to the Comedy Store to Mixed Nuts. And you learn from that. Some people, their ego, as a comic, they would never accept
No,
that.
that's why
And you know
it's
what,
awesome.
motherfucker? Take your ego and shove it in your pussy. I'm not saying to pay people to write for you. Listen to what I'm saying to you. It's forgetting the people that live and breathe in you. When you're a comic, you have those people. You have certain people that you've been there since open mic. And there's 3 or 4 of them, and you get them. You don't say, I don't want you to write me an act. I want you to enhance that act. Because you're a lady and you have a different view of seeing it. You're an animal and you have a different view of seeing it. And this is what real people do. So this is all I did. I just said the stories and people gave me notes. And some of the notes I already knew. And one guy had a note for me about using, because it was true. I was just telling the story, so you had nothing involved in the story. So he goes, you have to put somebody there so people could relate to that guy that you're putting there. So at first, to be honest, it was kind of painful because first I was going to put the probation officer I had when I first went to prison, who I kept bugging him for my mental evaluation, because when you get locked up, they do a mental evaluation up here, and they send that to the government. They always have that breakdown. That's how they do all their classes and shit. So I want to know what was on there, and he kept saying to me, I can't tell you. And one day I broke his balls, and he goes, it says that you're very dangerous, that if I had something you wanted, to give it to you, because if not, you get it from me. And I went into like this fucking depression for 2 months, because I'm like, I'm doomed. I'm just going to be a thief. And one day I told him that. He goes, no, you didn't read me. What it said is that you don't belong here. You should do something with your life. Whatever you want to do, you could do. And I was like, wow. And I was going to use that and tell him my story, what I had done since he told me that.
I just got chills.
But I said, fuck it. I went deeper. I took my daughter, who I haven't seen in 8 years. So I made her the culprit. So what I said was that I had communicated with her, and she wrote me a letter that she wanted to know who her grandparents were and what they were about. But now, you know how people call you when they come to LA, and then they hit the 405, and then they fucking say, fuck Felicia, we'll just do what we came to do. She had called me that day, and she's like, I'm at the airport. I'm on my way. Yeah.
When did this happen?
Thursday at the one-man show.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I just sucked you motherfuckers in. That's what the one-man show's about. That my daughter's on her way, and I have a fucking hour. So I tell the story to you guys as listen, this is, you want to know, this is why I'm not with you. The bottom line of this, so you see it from 2 different angles. One angle is my life, when I tell about my dad beating up some guy on the street for hitting a fucking dog. And I tell her about, you know, when my stepdad shot some guy at a party one time. And I tell her about my real dad who died of a heroin overdose. I tell her all this shit. I tell her about how my mom hit that guy in the head with the fucking bottle. And I go, these are the reasons why I left. I didn't want to be a part of your life. After I hit John that day, I smacked her stepfather because he called us a spick. And I smacked him. I felt good about myself for smacking him, but when I turned around, I seen my girl crying in the car. She was 5. You know what? At 5, I was used to that shit. My dad had shot a motherfucker. I was used to that. That little princess with little red curls, she don't deserve to see that. And that's not a story. I'm telling you guys, right there it dawned on me. I don't need to be here. She's got a nice fucking guy for a father. The mother's gonna have another kid. I don't belong here. All I'm doing is fucking this up. That's all I'm fucking doing, Felicia. Because I don't know who would accept things how other people. You say fuck you, I say fuck you, you say fuck you, and next thing you know, the standard's going up your fucking head. I don't know nothing about courts or let's contact the attorney and I'll see you. We don't have time for that. I know you 15 years. Now you want to talk to me through a fucking intermediary, whatever the fuck they call them. So I didn't really have the patience for all that. So I knew in my heart I was prepared to go to prison already. I was going to get a fax machine and I was going to write Jay Leno jokes every day. I swear to God. I was going to kill both of them. But then I'm like, then my daughter stays an orphan. So I don't win in this. There's only one solution for me to do. Let me step away. It's going to hurt. Let me live my fucking life. And somewhere along the line you meet. And that's just the way life decided this particular situation. That's why when people say to me, whenever our friend gets drunk and she starts up on me, why do you start up on me when you're straight in the daytime? You want to start up on me when I'm stoned and having a good time. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I wrote the one-man show now.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I had to put you to stake. I had to build the stakes for you. I had to make you cheer in a way, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Awesome. And when are you going to do it again?
I think I'm going to do it again in June, and then I'm going to put it up for like a 3-day run somewhere in North Hollywood. Not in Hollywood, just for us, like family. We got some banana bread, some fucking weed. Did you see what happened Saturday night? You guys didn't see what happened Saturday night. Something fucking miraculous happened Saturday night. If you have a chance to watch it on HBO, watch it.
What?
Bernard Hopkins beat up the guy in the second rematch. He's
I saw
46
that on the
years old.
news. I saw that
Okay?
on the news.
And what this guy did was, he said, I'm 46. I got nothing. But I got 7 good fucking punches at this hand left. If I could hit him with 5 of them, and that's exactly what he did. He stayed away from him. He played him, and this is the shit you do when you get older. So for people who go, oh, well, he was strong or whatever, Bernard Hopkins played him with his mind, which he's been doing. Bernard Hopkins went to prison, got out. Nobody even fucking looked at him. He didn't start making money till 10 fucking fights ago. For years, this guy was 40 and something. He was making shit fights. They all liked Roy Jones. So I want to really congratulate this guy to let you know that this is a fucking journey, motherfuckers.
I did wake up this morning and have my coffee and watch the news, and then I saw that, and I was all like, yeah.
46 years old.
Take that, young people. Take that.
And he's a felon, so he's really got to be like 48. You know what I'm saying?
Take that.
Really, really interesting shit to see. When you see that from a different perspective, and it just shows you, you know, that you're never fucking too old to do anything. Yeah. You're really not, you know, so.
Well, and age accounts for something, like life experience. It's not just about strength. It's about knowing, like, when to hit, you know, the psychology around that, like, I'm going to tire this guy out, or whatever he did, it's strategy. Strategy is a huge part of that kind of stuff.
And that's something that we have to, that's something I did for the one-man show. I mean, like pros and cons. I'm not good at memorization, but I'm good at storytelling. I'm not good at this. And once you do that, it helped me tailor it. Like, I broke down my weaknesses and my strengths, and it helped me tailor and tell the show, you know, like. So you have to know about yourself. This is the bottom of this shit, that you really, if you know where you are, you know, in that point in your life, at least your 2 feet are down. You don't have to be booming or be on a TV show or be the best in your class or the best plumber. As long as you know where you are and you can grow from it, that's where you get your strength sometimes, I think. And seeing that really blew my father-fucking mind. It's like seeing Felicia every morning looking better than motherfucker. I was looking at these little 20-year-olds, you know, I'm like, these chicks might be a little cute, but can they suck the helmet like Felicia? Right. This will be fucking continued, you know what I'm saying?
Don't forget the balls, man. Don't forget the balls. Oh, that's like not doing your side work as a waitress. You know, you can't fucking just serve people. You got to clean up afterwards.
That's the only way I know how to be a waitress.
You got to stop napkins and shit. You got to replace the straws. You know what I'm saying?
I'll stroke them and tickle them, but I'm not wrapping my tongue around that. I'm so full of shit. I would if you liked it.
Oh, fuck
what?
Yeah.
About what?
I would wrap my tongue around anything if the person I was with liked it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm big into balls. I mean, that's like
that's very nice to know, Danielle. You're fucking savage on a Monday afternoon. Danielle's into
No, I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, because I've been with guys who don't really like their balls touched, and like that's kind of a deal breaker for me because I really enjoy that. It's just It's
How do
just
they
a thing
tell
for
you they
me.
don't like their balls touched?
You can tell by their reaction. Like either they're like, okay, too sensitive, or like I'll start looking around there and like they'll go a little bit soft, and you're like, okay, all right, you're not a ball guy. This is probably our last night together. You know,
Really? All right.
Is this not? You know, it's some guys can't come from blowjobs. Like, that's not gonna fly with me. It's a big part of my life and who I am, and it's about what you were saying about knowing who you are. Like, I have strengths and weaknesses. Like, I am not the best, fuck in the world. I'm not. I don't love getting on top. When I do, I
Really,
put
you don't
effort.
like getting on top?
I
Really?
don't, and I think it's an age thing because as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into it. But
You know what? That's true. As you get older, you like to be on top more. It's true.
because it's easier.
Totally
It's easier for
true.
me to have an orgasm on top. So you would think that I would get on top quicker, but it's some sort of like a vulnerability thing, or I don't know what is, but like where I put the work in is in the oral sex, and like if a guy is not really that into oral, like it's not good.
Yeah,
It's not gonna work.
I understand that.
It's like a guy who likes to eat pussy with a girl who doesn't like to have her pussy eaten. It's like we're not, that's a
Yeah.
wall in
Yeah.
the thing.
That girl's autistic. Because that girl don't like her pussy licked.
It's the weirdest thing because when you're with a woman that doesn't like her monkey lift, they fucking tense up like I do when I go for a needle. And you can't eat pussy when you're tense. It doesn't go nowhere. You're just sitting there fucking licking a fucking ice cream cone. And you're trying to get hot and they're not going nowhere, and it's like, this ain't gonna fucking work. So
It's such a fine line between
Love and
sensual and awkward. Yeah,
Love and hate.
if one partner's not, and that's the same thing. It's like if I'm giving a guy a blowjob who's like not really that keen on blowjobs, it's like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is about an exchange of energy and exchange. I make you feel good, you make me feel good. Like some dudes are just all about, they just want to eat pussy and fuck you because they want nothing for themselves. And you think, oh, that's like the best lover in the world. No, I get as much pleasure about giving you pleasure than I get from you eating my pussy. So if you're not gonna take my pleasure, if it's gonna be all about me, I'm fucking bored after a weekend. That's just how it is.
Well, I would like to add. Either way, I love when you go to have sex with a man and he opens with going down to Chinatown. When that happens, I'm like, no way, and I actually say it. No way.
Yeah, that's good.
Brilliant move. Bravo, bravo.
Yeah, once you get into a relationship, I find that I have to remind the guy I'm with, like, you gotta touch my pussy at least before we fuck. I mean, sure, there's like some times where it's just like a quickie or whatever, but that can get too much too soon, like where you're just doing quickies. It's like, you gotta remember, like, you gotta, acknowledge it, touch it, make it, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta like wake it up. We're not like guys where it's like we're either hard or we're not. You gotta wake it up.
Yeah.
Wait, let it know who, what's up, that there's a party going on.
You gotta make it sad.
Yeah.
You gotta make it.
Invite her to the party.
Yeah.
Invite her to the
It
party.
has to shed a little tear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And giggles at the
you
same
gotta
time.
stick 2 fingers in it and pick it up like that guy at
Yep.
the fucking barbecue place when he picks up that fucking meat and he pulls it out like that. You gotta stick those 2 little fingers in their fucking monkey and just pick them up like
Yep,
a hook,
let 'em
like
know
the
who's
fucking,
boss.
like the guy on the fucking fishing boat show, whatever the fuck.
All right.
To catch a
See, I told you this was where
Now
this
I'm uncomfortable. No, I'm kidding.
We'll be back, bitches. Being the Beast, Danielle Stewart in the house.
That's right. By the way, last night I had a really weird, awkward, interesting, fun time.
Where'd you go?
Well, the activity partner took me to this club called the Continental Club. The activity partner is a musician. Weird, I know. And so he has all these musician friends, and a friend of his mother was a big-time band singer, like a Doris Day type singer, like, Lemon Sister type singer in the 40s and 50s. And she was quite the fireball, and was very talented, but always was a little bit too sassy for anyone in her position, and like got fired off the Ed Sullivan Show, and like told Bugsy Siegel once to go screw himself when she was working in Vegas when they first opened the hotel in Vegas, before she realized it was Bugsy Siegel. And she just was one of those types of chicks. And so she gave a performance, and it was her like first performance that she had done in a year. She's
How old was she?
85 fucking years old.
Oh my God.
85 fucking years old. And she had a little band, and it was the most interesting thing because, parts of it, like, she kind of forgot a few lyrics here and there, and she was very nervous, but she could really sing. And it was so interesting to see her sing these like big band, a lot of Stephen Sondheim, but and you know, here and there her voice was a little gone, but it was still pleasant to listen to. But to see her visually, this 85-year-old woman singing these tunes and singing about love long ago with the pain that someone 85 years old experiences was really interesting in itself, you know, and I really enjoyed it. And then the activity partner started talking about Joe Louis. I guess Joe Louis at the end of his life would go to the gym and spar, you know, shadow box by himself and spar with others. And there are a couple times where they filmed it, and you can kind of see that he's, you know, back in the good old days, fighting and remembering his glory, you know. And so it was like that last night. So it was really interesting to see, and I'm glad I did it. And it's something you normally wouldn't go do. I mean, look, who wants to go see an 85-year-old woman belt out Sondheim? But when you see it from that point of view, like the beauty of the whole story and the fact that she absolutely had so much joy doing it, and the room was kind of busy and packed, and how appreciative people were that she did that, you know?
Who the fuck knows? 40 years from now, I'll be dead and gone, and you'll still be looking dynamic and hot and shit. And you'll probably go to, by that time, it'll be a fucking John Lovett's Meteor Club or something.
Well,
and you'll do the podcast, and there'll be like 3 guys with Beauty and the Beast t-shirts that they save. And they'll come and see you, and you could do the wig joke and how you got pissed off at me. And how neat is that to have that night again?
Absolutely.
You know, when you retire, they give you a fucking watch and you move on, you know, and the people call you from time to time. But something about art, and that came to me that night when I went to see The Mechanic. I never learned about that, and I seen that guy that was the only guy that was really left from Hard Times. And he was there, and he was as proud as the day he booked it. And it just gave me this thing to share it with him. Like, I was like, fuck, I wish that someday I'm fucking 80 and somebody shows Spider-Man 2 and invites me and makes a big deal over me. And
right.
That's a great feeling. Man.
No, it was a great feeling. And I turned to the activity partner and I'm like, I'm so going to do this when I'm 85.
Fuck yeah.
But it's going to be about sucking cock and getting fucked. You know what I mean?
Hey, I don't know.
Like, and you know, the cutest part of the story, by the way, was his friend who is in the music business in some sense, and a real savvy guy, and how he was so nervous for his mom, and how afterwards he bragged about all the notorious stories about his mom. But you could see that he was telling these, and by the way, they were awesome stories about Bugsy Siegel, I said, and all that. And to see that he had such respect and excitement and for his mom, even though she probably drove him crazy when he was a kid with her dramatics, you know, like all mothers do.
Listen, you and I both know
that was the coolest part of the night.
You and I both know there's a dynamic to being on stage. And there's a dynamic for somebody who sees you. You can know somebody for 8 years, 10 years. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, I'm going to come watch. And you're like, whatever. And all of a sudden they come out and they leave there and they're like, I never seen that dynamic in you. You know, and people like us see it. That's why I was so impressed with that guy. And maybe that kid's son is looking at it going, you know, I never imagined my mom while she was making me fucking eggs and talking about I better get a B in geography, that she could do this.
Yeah.
That your mom could actually do this. How nice would it be for us two to get to see our mom come out when they're fucking 90 and belt out a shoe wop or fall over with their diaper? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Just to have that,
absolutely.
just to see somebody that old be that young.
Absolutely.
It's always, you know, I was telling somebody that Mike Kessler's doing this neuro thing, shock treatment. I've known Mike for 30 fucking years. I was looking at him the other day. I'm like, this motherfucker doesn't look 64.
He's 64?
He's 64.
Shut the fuck
Doesn't
up.
look like a guy 64. I was watching a video that I put on Facebook the other day because it was one of the best performances I've ever seen as a man. And it's Paul Rogers from Bad Company singing with Queen at the VH1 Honors. And if you watch this guy, he's 59 years old. He's not 40. And the funny thing is, they did it in Vegas. And I remember when I first seen it on VH1 that they showed the whole evening. And it was like a Tuesday night in Vegas, and nobody knows who Paul Rogers is. They know who Queen is, but the singer died.
Right.
So nobody knows who Paul Rogers is. Who's Paul Rogers? This guy's got a bad wig. Did you see him? He's got a horrid wig. But he's 61 now. You know, he's a black belt in like 3 different fucking arts. But the beauty about him was that he was always kind of crazy. And what a lot of people don't know is if you even Wikipedia, he got thrown out of Bad Company for beating up 2 of the members. Not one. He beat up the guitar player and he broke somebody's jaw with a kick.
Oh,
This
really?
motherfucker's bad.
Oh,
Yeah, he's out of
really?
his bird.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Page liked him. Everybody liked him, but everybody said he was kind of fucking dangerous. But just to watch him, at 59 years old, he sounds great. Like when they showed the side cuts of him, his fucking vocal muscles and shit. And I was just thinking about how 30 years ago you wouldn't see that. Because at that age, I don't know if it was taboo, but it really wasn't thought of unless you were Dean Martin or Sinatra. And here's this fucking guy not only singing like crooner music, but he's singing rock music, the shit that goes, you know. And I'm sitting there going, that's amazing that these guys, that they just added 20 years to the curve for us. Mm-hmm. They really have. You know, what people did at 40, you know, now people are still doing at 60 and 70.
Absolutely.
You know, it's very nice to know at 50 that fuck, I may have 40 years left, and they're going to be fucking great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to make them the best. I know how to move forward without getting, like my parents and your parents never thought of working out or going to a yoga class. I go to yoga class on Tuesday mornings. This lady that's 80 in there doing fucking yoga. And okay, she can't get into no downward dog, but she's there.
Yeah.
You know, and she takes a little breather, and everybody helps her, and they give her water. And
no, you appreciate that.
Yeah,
you
you're
appreciate. Like. And the fun thing is, as we were leaving, the guy whose mom was singing, he's like, yeah, and my mom just got married, and she's in her 80s, and he's in her 70s, and it's like she's the trophy wife. She's like such a pistol still that he's like, this is my trophy wife, and it was just really cool to see. You know, like that's you don't realize that you think, man, once you hit 50 you're fucked, but that the whole big thing starts to happen. Anyway, that's scary. So that was
sounds
my
like
story.
a very interesting evening. I always like when people
evening.
you get something out of an evening.
Yeah,
that's what I call getting something out of an evening. When you go out on the way home, you're like, damn, that was neat.
Yeah,
that wasn't like a Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie movie or nothing. That was real. This is fucking real. When you see somebody go up there and do their things 90 fucking years later and talk about the old days, and you're sitting there and they're living it. When you're looking at their eyes, Felicia, they're there.
Oh, absolutely.
They're there. They're there, man.
A couple of New Year's Eves ago, I was there's a place called Bistro Garden or something, and they have this big New Year's Eve party, and it was all like young people. You know, it was like one of those, because you don't nowadays. I don't feel in LA go to a place and everyone's mixed ages. You usually go to a place that's people kind of your age or younger, or then there's people in their 20s, but to go to a place and it's all over the map, teenagers, young people, and old people. And this couple came in, and they had to be in their 80s, and they were very trim and dapper, and they start fucking doing the waltz in the middle, like no one else is dancing, but you know, it's like right before it starts to get
like
good.
letting you know what
and
it's really all about.
Bang it, and everyone just started getting up and dancing too, because like,
how neat is that?
And when they were doing it, it was like watching you know, a cartoon animation of old people, like in Beauty and the Beast at a ball or something. You know, they were like, it was like the cutest thing, you know.
It's amazing that sometimes we're stuck so deep in ourselves that somebody of that age has to come in and show us how to get the motherfucking party started.
Right.
With no drugs, no alcohol, they just started dancing.
Yeah.
They just started dancing, and the energy was contagious, and you sat there for 2 minutes like, God damn, look at these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know, nobody had to do nothing. Nobody had to smoke a joint. They're just going on hype. They're just happy to be fucking alive.
And sometimes you don't even know when that happens. I used to shoot a lot of weddings when I was really into photography, and one time I was shooting this Indian wedding, and there was no cake and no alcohol. And I don't even, if I'm shooting a wedding, I'm not going to even eat cake or drink alcohol. And I was like, damn, this wedding is so fucking boring. These Indian people, what the fuck? And then someone turned the lights off and put the music on, and it was a disco. And I was like taking pictures and jumping up and down. It was like the whole, of all ages, you know, women in their sarongs or whatever they're called, and their bellies showing, and then, you know, old women, and all of a sudden it was on, and it was Saturday Night Fever. You just never know.
You're a fucking savage. You just hypnotized me with your face. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I think I was
motherfucker.
lulling you to sleep.
No,
with my
I was
awkward
checking
story.
No,
By the way, you were talking about something when we were sitting over here about.
I didn't know. I didn't know if you wanted me to talk to you about it. I didn't know if it was. You know, a lot of people email us sometimes, and they're like, "Hey, man, why don't you talk more about MMA?" And I'm like, I can't, because it's not feasible for Felicia. You know, I don't like.
I don't mind if you
No,
talk about
no, no, no.
MMA.
But sometimes you got to get technical, and you're sitting there like a fucking mort. I
No,
wouldn't
because
wanna
I'm
be,
listening. I
I
wanna
wouldn't want to
learn.
really be on the other foot. You know, like if you were talking about like Stephen Sondheim, I'll be sitting here scratching my nuts. I don't know
Is
what
that
the
what
fuck.
you were doing when I was talking about Stephen
No,
Sondheim?
no, I'm just throwing Stephen Sondheim's name. I'm familiar with quite his work, but
You are you?
yeah, because I did this movie and stuff, so I had to listen to him.
Okay.
But it's really funny how we were a couple weeks ago. We were talking about. I'm very amused with people's lives. I look at my life and I like to look at people's lives. I like to see what developments they've done, and you just question different things. We're talking about Stephen Tyler. We're talking about Lawrence Taylor. And then yesterday, something very interesting happened. The Nevada State and California State Commission denied Chael Sonnen's request to relicense, and Dana White had promised him the ultimate fighter job, which is coaching, which is coaching a team, and then you fight that person. You know, we all watch Chael Sonnen. A lot of you that listen to this watch Chael Sonnen, beat Yushin Okami, and he beat somebody else, Nate Marquardt, and also they gave him the title, and he was fucking hilarious. He was saying some of the funniest things you've ever seen. He was pissing people off. He was talking about the Brazilians and talking about Anderson Silva's manager. And then he goes into this fight with Anderson Silva, and these guys are my witness. He beat the fuck out of Anderson Silva for 4 rounds and 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and something seconds. And then he gets caught in this fucking armbar and combination triangle. And, before that he tapped. He said he didn't tap. And then a week later, or before the fight, he dropped out of the Congression. He was going to run for Congress, and he was a successful realtor. And then, like, over the holidays, it was found out that he fucking got involved in some money laundering. And it was like he got in trouble for like 3 or 4 things, like, bam, one after one. And I'm sitting there going, the weirdest thing is, out of all the shitty things he did, like go on Twitter, and then he told that he didn't do that because before he got the drug test, he left the door. He left the door open. That's what a lot of criminals do. They leave a door open for you.
How did he leave it open?
They told you I'm on testosterone treatment. Nobody had told us. Now you're going to tell me why you're taking a fucking piss test? You know what I'm saying? Like, he mumbled it to say, yeah, I told you, but he never really addressed it. He said I could be high for, you know what I'm saying? Like, he left the door open. I know when you leave a door open. You do it for a lot of things in life. You leave a door open for yourself. So he left that door open. Then they told him, no, you didn't. You just tried to backpedal your way out of it. And everything has been a story. Everything has been a story with him, The money laundering, on top of the fucking, then he ratted on the people, and then they gave him 10 years probation, and then he fucking came up hot for the testosterone, and he said that, no, he told the athletic commission before he took the P test that he was high for testosterone, and they were like, no, you didn't. So somewhere along the line there was a misunderstanding there. And it's just all these things. And then yesterday he goes in front of the committee and he shows up with his mom, and he shows up and he says that if they don't give him a license, he's gonna fucking quit and retire. And they're like, bye. They didn't play into his shit.
Right.
And I was thinking about all the things that happened the last couple of months to him. I'm thinking, what did this guy do that was so bad for his karma to backfire in all levels of his life and his professional career and his political aspirations and his fighting career? I mean, everything went down the tubes. What do you do?
Right.
And I think about a time when after I had kidnapped that kid, I was in a Boulder supermarket. I was in King Supers on Baseline Avenue in South Boulder, and I'm in there shopping. It was my King Supers of choice because security was low there, and I knew the guy at the fucking seafood department. I could always steal lobster tails, and he would make me these fish kebabs that had fish and lobster in them and all this shit. So, to make a long story fucking short, I bumped into the DA from the trial, the guy that was trying to prosecute me. And I bumped into him. I forget what his name is at the time. He's not there anymore. He became a prosecutor for the environment, for the feds, for people who dump shit and stuff. And he took me aside and he goes, Joey, I got to be honest with you, guy. You're a very nice guy, and people say great things about you. But for a long time, you've been chucking and jiving. He goes, you've been chucking and jiving, and now you got to pay the fucking piper. And I'm like, I never chucked and jived because you've been chucking and jiving all your life. We just got your police records, dog. You've been getting in and out, talking your way out of it. You knew certain people. You've been chucking and jiving. That always stuck with me because I was chucking and jiving.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing. You're chucking and jiving. You're really not committing to nothing. You're doing 1,000 things at once. You're a fucking fighter. Steroids aren't allowed. But the thing that nobody mentioned, that fucked me the most about. I'm not a fan of his at all because I didn't like the things he was saying before the fight, even though he was trying to sell it. And then all the things that happened to him. You know, if you're going to talk that big, you better be able to back it as a man and with character. Yeah. All the things he did was short on fucking character in my book. And again, I've done those things. And at that time in my life, my character was weak before I raised my hand. But the thing I felt the most insulted by that nobody ever mentioned, it wasn't the fucking money laundering, it wasn't the steroids, it was the night of the fight when he faked the tap. Right there, it just showed me about everything about him.
Right.
It's like I told you a couple of months ago, when I was really fucking running, when I was really running Felicia, if I had a friend who cheated on his wife or his girlfriend, I didn't want him around me.
Right.
Just because if you walk down the aisle with a bitch and you can't be honest, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to my asshole? You walk down the aisle with this bitch. What are you going to do to my asshole? So there's little character flaws that people look at. That's something I looked at, you know. And that fake tap to me always bothered me. That fake right there, that night when he said, I didn't tap, and he got up and he yelled at Josh Rosenberg, and Josh Rosenberg said to him, bro, you fucking tapped. And, you know, it's like you watching me steal that briefcase out the door. And you're like, Joey, I'm not mad at you. I seen you take it. I'm like, Felicia, I didn't take it. After a while, you're like, you're chuckling and jiving, guy. Why are you doing this to me? Give me a little bit of fucking respect. So all I want to make people aware of, the point of this fucking whole debacle is that, you know, you have to look at whatever you do in life. Like, I guess he was just trying to cut corners at every fucking level. And at some level in your life, you have to say to yourself, when does this end? Because even I, like I've told you, I was a fucking junkie, and I had a comedy CD, and I didn't have the heart to sell it after the fucking show. But I would go hit somebody in the head with a hammer and take $50 from them. You know, I would mug that little stripper girl I mugged that time in L.A. and you know, ate her ass just so you go to Dante's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Your tongue up her ass as your hand was in her purse.
Yeah, and her pockets taking her money out. But that's all. I mean, I just have to, and if anybody has any ideas on this, email me, you know? Email us at Beauty and the Beast Podcast at gmail.com. I just want to say one thing from the bottom of myself and Felicia's heart. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the fucking great emails. You motherfuckers make our week as much as we make yours. Give them a kiss, Felicia. Tell them what's really crack-a-lacking.
This is what's really crack-a-lacking.
Stay black. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.